Hey there, guys. Welcome back to another episode of The Eventful Life. I hope you guys enjoyed the last episode, but boy, do I have a treat for you today. I'm so excited to be here with Nicky Nolot of the Tolon Restaurant. And I don't know if you realize this because I didn't and just figured it out, but Tolon is Nolot spelt backwards. And that's the name of her restaurant. So how about that? Kind of tricky, right? But it's kind of cool. So Nicky, I'm excited to be here with you. Thanks so much for having me.
No, thanks for asking.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. So just a little bit of background, guys. For those of you who are just joining me, the Eventful Life blog and TV series is all about highlighting and featuring mompreneurs who are in the Fort Wayne community. This was something that just was very special to me to do this because I wanted really to be able to tell the stories of some of the mompreneurs who are out here just really doing a great job in building their business as well as juggling and, if I should even say, balancing because we know that's a word that can be used lightly. But juggling, everyday life of their family life, raising kids, being a wife, and then also building their business. So I decided, hey, what better way than to go and find some of these dynamic women so that I could share their story with you and those of you who maybe aspire to also start your business but are wondering, how do I do it? Especially with being a mom, being a wife, or just wondering where to even start. So again, glad that you decided to join us again today. And so we're gonna just dive right in, okay? So Nicky, tell me a little bit about how did you guys even start Tolon? And let me say, the food here is impeccable, guys. It's actually one of the first places that we visited, me and my family visited when we moved to Fort Wayne, Indiana. And when I say it blew my mind, I am not exaggerating. You guys know I'm a foodie, so it was amazing. And this woman was part of the reason why it was so amazing. I got to tell them just a short little bit of what you did. So my boys came in, and we were all together here having brunch. And so I had made the mistake of promising them pancakes. I said, guys, we'll get pancakes because it's brunch. That's what kids love, right? Don't they always eat pancakes?
They love pancakes.
So we came here to Nicky's restaurant, and in looking at the menu, I was like, oh my God, they don't have pancakes. What am I going to do? So needless to say, I started panicking because once you promised a 2-year-old and a 5-year-old that you're going to do something, they don't let you live that down. Well, Nicky jumped right on it and literally saved the day because that's what super moms do. She saved the day. She went in the kitchen, whipped up these pancakes that were made of like cornbread muffin cornmeal, and came out with these wonderful, fabulous pancakes that my boys absolutely loved. I mean, they ate every bit, guys. So so when I say we are special human beings, not just because we do what we do, but because she's a mom. She gets it.
Definitely get it.
So thank you so much. And again, that's why I'm so excited to talk to you today. Tell us how you got started here.
Oh my gosh. Well, it was a long journey. My husband has been a chef in town here in Fort Wayne for over 30 years. It's always been a dream of his to have his own restaurant and to give back to Fort Wayne, the community that he's grown up in. He is a transplant as well as I am. So Fort Wayne's become our home over the years, and we wanted to make sure that we gave back to the community. But in devising the plan for the restaurant,
so we're gonna call it that.
Yeah,
right?
We might as well call it a plan. Let's call it what it is. It took some time, a lot of arguing, a lot of, are you sure? No, I don't want to do it now. Okay, fine. Are you sure you want to do this? Is this really what you want to do? Yeah. Because it's a lot of work, but it took us, we started planning together in 2009, so I'm in business with my husband. Yes. He's the main partner. I'm more behind the scenes he'll tell you that I'm the boss.
I was about to say, I feel like it's the other way around though, for some reason.
The staff here has given me the moniker Queen Bee because I am always over the hive.
Yes, I love it.
Making sure that all the pieces are working together.
That's a part of being a mom.
It's part of being a mom. You multitask.
Yes.
So the plan took a while. We didn't open until 2016, but the location that we're in was the very first location that we looked at. I fell in love with the historic building and knew that this is the place that I wanted the restaurant to be.
They're located in downtown, just to give you some context. They're located in downtown Fort Wayne,
yes,
which is currently developing, starting to really boom,
yes,
if you will.
And you hear the phone ring.
Hey,
we're always open.
She's in
so we're, like Janelle said, we're located in downtown Fort Wayne. There's been a lot of development going on in the past few years. We wanted to make sure that we were part of that and help revitalizing our downtown and our community. That was really important to us to be a part of that. So we chose to be on the landing. When we took possession of the building, after we did, the city announced that two big, huge projects are Promenade Park, which is down at Superior and Harrison, as well as
gorgeous.
Yeah, it's beautiful. So if you haven't been and you're in Fort Wayne, make sure you come. Or if you're in Indiana, it's worth the trip.
Yes.
As well as the landing, which used to be back in the heyday when the city was first developed, the canal. So the canal, and it was the center of the city, and so the city, along with Greater Fort Wayne Inc., have come together along with some other organizations, the Land Trust, and ended up buying these historic buildings that were in jeopardy of being torn down.
Wow.
So they've really worked to repurpose those buildings, like we did with ours. Ours was the actual Wayne hardware store.
Oh, wow.
Back in the original day. So you talk about developing and having multiple rooms and different types of flooring, and it was crazy. We had an elevator shaft running through our space. Would have loved to keep it, but unfortunately we had to cut that part. It did not quite work with the aesthetics and everything. Talked about putting a table in there, but it just wasn't quite safe.
That would have been kind of cool, though.
It definitely would have been cool.
Would you like to eat dinner here or in the elevator?
Yes. But the shaft is actually running through our building, so there are remnants of it. So those historic pieces are, important to us. But
absolutely. So one of the things that I love that you said was that you and your husband had to make sure you got on the same page about, when was this going to happen? Where was it going to happen? Because I do think sometimes as women in business, especially if we are wives, moms, one of the first things that we think about when we decide to follow this entrepreneurial journey is, what is my family going to think about what I'm doing, and are they going to be supportive? Is this going to totally disrupt our family life? So I love that you touched on that, and let's kind of segue into that a little bit, because what Nikki hasn't told you is that she's got 3 boys.
Yes. They're quite a bit older now from when we first started thinking about doing this, but Janelle's right. I'm fortunate because I have my husband who this really was his passion, his dream. I got behind him and then got pulled in. It's kind of that switch and bait. He's like, hey baby, I really want to do this. What do you think? And I'm like, oh, hey, it sounds like a good idea. Go for it.
Like, you go for it. And I'll be here to cheer you on.
I'll be your cheerleader with my pom-poms. But it really started taking on a life of its own, and it became very apparent the closer we got to going through dealing with investors and contractors and the build out and everything, that I had to be more involved. My husband is the creative side.
Uh-huh.
So we separated our roles.
Yes.
I am more of the business and analytical side and look at things and manage the money. My husband is the creative person. He creates the menus. We work together on the decor of the restaurant, the ambiance, the feel. Really, ladies, and gentlemen.
Right.
It's my husband would tell you that.
Own it, girl.
There were lots of battles. If I left it up to my husband, there would be motorcycle gears and stuff because he has a degree, but believe it or not, it's not in culinary arts. Right. It is in automotive engineering.
Okay.
So he loves to tinker,
right.
And I shouldn't say tinker.
Learned how to play to each other's strengths,
yes.
which is good.
Yeah. So the degree in automotive engineering has helped him look at things differently, a little differely. But it's still working with his hands and still being creative. So
how have your sons played a role in all of this, and how has that been kind of making sure that you still wear that mommy hat the way you need to for them and taking care of business?
So when we finally opened in 2016, the boys were older. We had one in high school, one in middle school, and one in their last year of elementary.
Phew. But those are all transition periods.
Periods. It definitely is. So it was difficult. I'll be honest. It was difficult as a mom who left her teaching job. So working, 7 a.m. to 3 p.m.
Right.
Teacher hours, but there's really no teacher hours. Let's be real. Into working from 7 a.m. in the morning until midnight, 1 a.m. and not seeing their kids. That was not being there to prepare their meals, make sure that they got home from school, that their homework was done. So fortunately for us, our oldest, who was 16 at the time, was getting his license, very responsible. So a lot of weight fell onto him at home of, making sure that his brothers were fed. Yeah. They were all involved in swimming as well. For their high school, their club, they swam year round.
Wow. So he's kind of making sure that they get to where they need to.
And a lot of it, that first year-ish, fell onto my mom. My mom lives very close to us and was
support from your mom.
Instrumental in making sure that the boys were where they needed to be. Right. I was always got them off to school, but making sure that they got to practice before our oldest was driving. A lot of their friends would help drive them home.
Yeah. They say it takes a village.
It definitely does.
To, start a business, it takes a village.
It takes a village to raise kids anyway. So, but as time went on and they got older, especially when the oldest got his license and was able to drive.
That
freed me up a little. That was a perk. I'm like, yes, you may have your license. And oh yes, I will take care of that car for you because I need you to run your brothers.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Help me out.
So
that's awesome.
It was different.
Yeah. How do you think they felt? I mean, if you had to guess, or maybe you guys have even had that conversation before, but how do you think they felt when going through that whole shift or transition? I mean, did they, because I know sometimes people think, well, hopefully they'll appreciate that we're trying to, build something here that is for, for the family.
Right.
But it's hard sometimes at first because, like you said, all the changes come. So how do you think they kind of felt about it?
I think initially it was a little difficult for them to go through that shift, but as time went on and it became our new normal.
Right. I love that you use that word, new normal.
They were on board from the very get-go about us doing this. They were excited. It was a sense of pride for them to go to school and talk about, hey, my parents are doing this amazing thing downtown. Yes. I'd walk into school and the teachers would tell me, hey, Michael's told us all about the restaurant. When's it opening? Or, oh my gosh, awesome. I can't wait to get there. So it for as a mom, for me, it was really neat to see how the excitement for them, and them sharing something that we created as a family, because I say we created it as a family because the boys had to be on board as well.
That's good.
They also, through high school, work in here. They continue to work in here. The youngest, not so much.
One of her boys that was working in here.
Yes, she met my oldest.
She's telling the truth.
He, from the very get-go, he and our middle son, Nicholas, worked in here, started bussing tables, working the expo window, pulling the plates to head out to the tables to make sure that they're plated correctly. The oldest now waits tables. He's a server here when he's home from school.
The lessons learned there, like, the character being built.
It forces them to talk to people. It really helps with their communication skills and their ability to, their interpersonal skills to be able to get along with people. So there were a lot of life lessons for them to be learned, as well as us, of dealing with that, like I said, that new normal as a family.
That's awesome. But I love the fact that you guys did it together, and like you said, it was you all went into this together, and that you also involved the boys in making that decision instead of, well, we'll make the decision and tell them later. So I think, we have to give our kids credit for being able to, be, just kind of cipher through things. Because sometimes we don't think they're able to handle it, but they will surprise us each and every time.
Kids are smarter than we give them credit.
Give them credit for. I totally agree. Totally agree. So let's fast forward. You guys have been here now for 4 years.
Going on 4 years.
Going on 4 years. That's amazing. And so, well, how do you feel like, obviously the community seems to have really rallied around you guys and are definitely embracing you being here. Tell me, kind of what do you see next for you guys? And then I also would love to leave, those who are aspiring to start a business, some of my moms out there, women, leave a word of advice for them about, just what do you feel like is a piece of advice you would leave for someone?
Oh gosh. Okay. So, the community's been great about supporting us. That's come with building relationships down to our farmers that we use, because our concept's farm to table. So we source locally as much as we possibly can. So I spent several years working with the farmers and building that relationship with them. Yes. So, besides the vendors, and when the guests come in, they are part of our family and they know that. I think the biggest thing for them is knowing that my husband Matthew and I, one of us will always be here. Always be here. It's become a little more difficult for me because I actually went back to teaching full time. So
she didn't even mention that part. Okay.
I was trying to leave that part out.
I know, she tried to sneak away with that one, but guys, she has another full-time job. So, she should be wearing this. I have on Supermom, but she should be wearing this.
Don't ask me how I do it because I still haven't figured it out. I do sleep, just so that you know. And
You're not a vampire.
I'm not a vampire. I am not Wonder Woman. Although I would love, I would love to wear that tiara and have the little bracelets and everything, the red boots. Yeah, she was my superhero when I was a kid. So, kind of try to emulate her a little bit. But yeah, it's a little crazy, but I think the community has really embraced what we do here because they know that they are part of our family.
I love that.
We appreciate everything about them, and we would not be here if it weren't for those guests coming through our door. Yes, a lot of the guests who initially came in were people who my husband has taken care of in the hospitality industry over the course of his career. However, there are thousands, tens of thousands, now hundreds of thousands of people that we didn't know when we first opened this door. And the community supporting us has been really great. It's been overwhelming for us. I think the biggest piece of that is that the guests who come in realize that they are part of our family. this is an extension of our home. We tell our staff that our staff goes through extensive training, and so that has been a key to us. But it boils down to the relationships that we've built with our farmers that supply our menu. We're a farm to table concept, so everything is, as much as we possibly can, is within a day's drive. And so spending those several years building that relationship with them and bringing them into our circle, it's kind of like that inner circle. What was that movie? Meet the Fockers.
Oh yeah.
He, Robert De Niro's character talks about the circle, the inner circle. So we kind of have that inner circle here with our farmers and our providers and everything, and so we work really closely with them, and our guests appreciate that. But a lot of our guests, initially came from when people that my husband took care of through his career in the hospitality industry. But we've had tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people now in 4 years come through that we didn't meet before opening the door. We didn't know them. And so seeing the response and them continuing to come back, it helps that our menu changes with every season. Something new every 3 months.
For them to come and explore, experience.
But the thing that keeps them coming back and that we hear all the time is them knowing that either myself or my husband Matthew will be here. It's really important to them, for our guests, to know that as the owners, we really work our business.
That you have a presence, they see and feel your presence.
They know that, and some have said, hey, sometimes we can tell when you're not there, and quite honestly, I'm not here all the time anymore, as much as what I used to be, because of, like we mentioned, working, teaching full time. Well, I do have kids still. They are older. They're in college. We have 2 in college and 1 as a sophomore in high school. But there are things that I want to do with them. I want to go visit my oldest in Florida. He, when he's swimming for his college there. It's still important for me to be involved as a mom in their lives, even though they don't need me.
Oh, yes,
that
they
much. Do. They say they don't, but I really think that they do. They just don't want to admit it. It's not cool to say they need their mom.
Age, they still need mom.
So, but trying to balance that, mom, my other job, taking care of my students, because I don't do anything half-hearted. I put everything I have into everything that I do. So that's just how I was brought up. But piece of advice to give to somebody who's thinking about going into business for themselves: definitely have the support of your family. If you have a significant other or a spouse, making sure that they're on board with what you want to do. Like I mentioned before, I was fortunate because my husband and I decided to do this together. But you don't have to. It's great to be able to do something on your own as well. But make sure that they're on board with you doing that, because you don't want to come home at the end of the day and it be a point of contention in your household.
Exactly.
The other thing is, it's not what you know, it is who you know.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
I learned that very quickly. Because a lot of things would not happen for our restaurant if it wasn't for the connections, those relationships. You said that a couple of times. It is very important. Building those relationships is so important. So there's been a lot of things that have happened for our business because of the relationship that I've made with people in the mayor's office, people on city council. Our patio that we have wouldn't have been built if it wasn't for having that relationship with the deputy mayor and the mayor's office, and working with them and being able to use those connections to get put in touch with the people within the city departments to help navigate all of the paperwork and the red tape. For that, and plus funding. Our patio was funded with city grant dollars.
Oh, that's awesome.
So
that's awesome.
So I mean, look into that. But the biggest thing is those relationships, and not thinking, oh, I'll never never use that. You never know when you're going to need that person.
Yes. I always say, like, as you know, as a business owner, your network is your network. You know, because if you always have to be building relationships, and should be, you know, if you're going to be in business for yourself. So
yeah, my oldest son is learning that very quickly, because with him being in Florida, but wanting to go, initially he wanted to go into medicine, and being in here, he's met several doctors who have said, come on back home, and you can intern in my practice for the summer, or come in and chat to get that experience. And now he's kind of taken a marine biology focus, but still being here in Fort Wayne, Indiana, and working this summer, he's made connections here that will help him in Florida, to get to the places that he wants to be. So it just not in business, but in life, making those relationships and those connections and making them count.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh. Well, I mean, guys, obviously we could talk forever, but I hope that you've enjoyed this series. Nicky, thank you so much. This was amazing. Relationships, guys. That is my number one takeaway from what Nicky has shared here, is just relationships in business, relationships in life. And I think the other takeaway, honestly, is make sure that you have support, that you have, the support of your family, or even extended family, which could be your village, because you can't do it alone.
No, you definitely can't do it alone.
So thank you so much. And please share, with everyone how they can find you. If you're in, the Fort Wayne, Indiana area, and you have not been to Tolon, you need to come immediately.
Yes, run, don't walk, as they say.
Exactly.
So yeah, we're located in downtown Fort Wayne, in historic area on the Landing. Our address is 614 South Harrison Street. You can always find us on the web at tolonrestaurant.com. You can see pictures of the restaurant, view our menu, everything. Read about our story. Read about our farmers that we use.
I love the farm to table concept.
So you can also find us on
Facebook. Are you guys on IG?
We're on Instagram at Tolon Restaurant.
Awesome.
Tolon Restaurant on Facebook.
Everywhere.
Yep, everywhere. Just Tolon Restaurant.
Tolon Restaurant.
You can call us if you're in the area at 260-399-5128. Our staff will be happy to help you secure a reservation. We do suggest reservations if you're coming to dine with us, especially on the weekends. We're rather small, so when you see the pictures of the restaurant, you'll realize that. So
she wants you to have a good experience.
Yes.
So make sure you make the reservation. Well, thank you so much, guys. Thank you again for joining us and joining the Eventful Life blog and TV series. Just remember, life is to be experienced. So we'll see you the next time.